From best-selling author and internationally acclaimed filmmaker Lynn Santer comes a tale of love, treachery, sacrifice, and survival. In the secret life of swans, set in a subtropical paradise, the reigning swan's ambitious daughter refuses to accept the ways of her kind, setting a chain of events in motion where hearts are broken, friendships are challenged, and lives are lost. A colorful community of characters share in this journey of self-discovery. The cheeky immigrant duck, the courageous crow, the leathery old skeptical turtle, and the colony of prehistoric-looking swamp hens. Will paradise be lost, or an idyllic world restored? This enchanting young adult novel will warm the hearts and inspire the souls of all ages. Available on Amazon now. Chapter 6. Sunrise followed sunset as life continued on Swamp Hen Island. Hugh and Serena were caring for a new egg. They took it in turns to incubate the fragile casing that nurtured the growing life inside. Many changing of the seasons and experience had taught them how important it was to make sure there was always plenty of nesting around the egg to keep it warm. While one sat on the egg, the other would exercise, patrol, and eat, usually returning with some new nesting material to keep everything fresh. Lord Quacksalot, Precious, and Blondie also fussed around making sure everything was perfect for the little one. "We can't have this little mite getting cold now, can we?" Precious said busily. It had been 1.5 full moons since the egg was laid. All the animals knew this was the full length of time that a swan egg required to incubate.
"I think this one has decided to sleep in,"
Lord Quacksalot quipped. "It won't be long now," Serena assured him.
"I think I'm going to get some rest before the pitter-patter of little web feet arrives. All that non-stop chatter baby swans make. It's a bit much for an old duck. Chatter, chatter, chatter. It never stops. I can't stand non-stop chatter,"
Lord Quacksalot muttered. Everyone looked at him.
"What?"
he wanted to know. Serena grinned at Blondie and Precious. Suddenly, they all heard the faint sound of pecking from inside the egg. Precious threw her wings up in excitement. "The baby's coming!" Hugh, who had been foraging at Lake's edge, heard the sound of Precious's excited cries and came rushing to the nest. Lord Quacksalot peered down, quacking.
"I love this part."
Blondie glanced at him. "But all the chatter?"
"Oh, piffle,"
Lord Q scoffed. Serena snuggled into Hugh, watching proudly as their newborn began to hatch. First, a tiny beak appeared. Next, 2 huge eyes blinked out. "Oh, how beautiful," Blondie whispered to Precious. Swifty came to take a look. Spike, much larger now, but still with one feather spiked out of place, hurried behind, not wanting to miss out on the excitement. The cygnet, still covered in a waxy substance that protected it from fluid inside the egg, continued to peck away from inside, one tiny chip after another. "This is so exciting," Precious gushed. Gradually, the tiny cygnet burst out of his shell and shook himself free of the only thing he'd known as home for the last 1.5 full moons. He tried to peer around, but was almost blinded by the bright sunlight. Quickly, he closed his eyes. "The light hurts." Serena looked down on him lovingly, before beaming at Hugh, who was standing by her side, tall and proud. All thoughts of Isis had left their minds. They were parents again. There was no room for regret or sadness when their hearts were so full of joy and love. Love for each other and love for their newborn.
"He sure looks like he's going to be a chip off the old block,"
Swifty commented. The little one only made tiny beep-beep sounds, blinking his eyes open again. "Oh, aren't they adorable at that age?" Precious cheered. "Beep-beep," the little one repeated, gazing up at the enormous towering figures of his parents. "Whoa, they're huge!"
"Welcome to the world, little one,"
Hugh announced proudly.
"I think we shall call you Prince."
He glanced at Serena for approval. She nodded.
"Prince!"
all the animals repeated in unison. "Beep, beep," said little Prince, trying to struggle to his feet. Meanwhile, at the far end of the lake, unbeknown to the community on Swamp Hen Island, Isis had returned with Hannibal, and he was wasting no time sizing up the kingdom.
"You were right,"
Hannibal told Isis in a deep, rumbling voice.
"This is a much better kingdom than the one you found me on."
"And it's ripe for the picking, my love," Isis seductively told him.
"You mean once I defeat your father for the ruling rights,"
he reminded her. "He's an old swan," she scoffed. "You'll take him easily."
"And you will be my queen to reign over your birthright," he pointed out.
"As it should be," she confirmed. Tom the turtle was watching and listening to them from below the surface. Luckily for Tom, the two conspiratorial swans did not know he was there. Other turtles joined him.
"There's something very not right about this,"
Tom whispered to his friends.
"I have a bad feeling in my shell."
The other turtles agreed.
"We should go warn the others."
Quickly, silently, the submerged fleet of turtles sped off in the direction of Swamp Hen Island.